Okay, welcome to the Midnight Chimera. I am going to be giving you a full tour this time of the grounds for my massive fortress, my Gothic fortress. In this video, I will be giving you a much longer description of the construction process, my vision behind it, and some of the details and areas that were not shown in the preliminary video. This video is really designed for people who love base building, who love the artistry and creativity that you can use in games to construct your own masterpiece, to construct your own world. And that's what I'm really doing here. That's what I want to bring out in this channel, as well as to show, how you can use a video game as a canvas for art, for creativity. So this again is my Gothic fortress. I'm estimating between 50 to 70 hours of work, all block by block. This is on a PvP server, so there is the potential for other players to attack you and cause damage to your territory, as well as the zombies, which are persistent. However, the defenses in my fortress are immense and difficult to overcome. I have numerous spike walls surrounded by this 2-block high perimeter wall, which is very effective at keeping them away from the main structure. So I've been able to dedicate a huge amount of time into building, and it really has been a huge amount of time. It's eaten away at my free time over the past several weeks. It's a mixed bag. It's been a lot of time spent, but I'm incredibly pleased with the outcome. As you can see, this is a tremendous structure, and I've seen large structures in the servers before. I've seen them almost as big as this. I don't go on every server, obviously, so I'm sure there are some that are much bigger. So please don't comment like, mine's so much bigger than that. I'm not saying that there aren't bigger structures. However, this is also a server that uses regular craft time, so you don't have instant crafting. So all these blocks rather took a lot longer to make. Also, I went above and beyond the structural integrity engine for this game. I purposefully put in flying buttresses for the main room section there, that large room, because I wanted it to look realistic. I know that you can put the concrete out a certain number of blocks and not have it fall over, but in real life that's not how it worked. Or not how it works, I'm sorry. So I wanted to make it appear more realistic, more architecturally sound, which took a lot more work, but I think it looks a lot more beautiful. And of course I went with a Gothic or a Gothic revival architecture scheme for this, doing the best that I can with what I'm given. Obviously this would be even better if I had more options to deal with, but you work with the confines of the game, just like if you choose to you do a charcoal sketch. There's only so many things you can do with charcoal. So working within the confines of the game, this is what I was working for. This cathedral-like, castle-like structure, which is not only nearly impregnable, highly defensible, but also artistically interesting and I would say artistically beautiful. I think it's a wonderful structure. So I'm about to take you inside, but I want to give you just kind of a perimeter look around so you can get a feel for what it looks like from all angles. You'll notice that I also did things like making sure that the concrete columns, for the most part, were lined up very well so that they would be more structurally sound, or appear more structurally sound. Again, I'm going for a realism feel. And I also want to mention that as far as the realism is concerned, I was also taking into account the world that the game, the environment of the game world. In other words, this is an apocalyptic game, right? There's zombies everywhere. There's people are running around. You can't trust them. So I wanted to really capture that feeling. I wanted to capture the feeling of being secluded, and there's danger around every turn, and you're building this massive fortification so that you can have that peace of mind. So the only way in is to go over the spikes. I may seem a little bit paranoid, but I didn't leave a path because I really didn't want any area to possibly be exploited by either other players or the zombies, even though the zombies are completely retarded in intelligence. So I hope I won't die as a process. And good, I made it. This is the only way into the fortress, is through this tower. You have to jump inside. And originally, the tower, it was just these 4 columns in the center were not here. It was just a flat ceiling up there. But I put these 4 columns in, again, to be more structurally sound. I did not want to take a chance that zombies might knock down part of this wall and have this whole tower come down. So it's a very easy preventative measure. Bottom rung of the ladder is taken out so the zombies cannot climb in. Climb up the top, and then there's this walkway to come across and into the main structure. Now, when I started this build, and I have screenshots if anybody's interested to see them, this was not intended to become this large of a build. Not at all. It started out with I played my first game with a friend. I bought a copy of the game for my friend, and I said, "Where do you want to set up a base?" And he said, "In the snowy region." So we came up here, and I put down just this little rectangular building, smaller than the base of this building, which you'll see in a moment, and put some spikes around it. And then I built another section here, and then I started working on this tower. And then after the tower went up and was completed, I think that's really when it solidified the fact that I was going to do a full build on this. And then I wanted to build up this structure, so I built it up, and I said, "Oh, I want to have a massive building, a massive room right in the middle, on top there." It's like, okay, so I put in the flying buttresses, and then I was like, well, I really should build really high, because that would be good too. So, I mean, these things get blown out of proportion. As anybody who has these pet projects know, they can oftentimes get extreme. But I did finish it, and I'm very happy for it. So we have these spikes, again, lining the walls here, just in case. There's this walkway that goes around. Keep torches in strategic locations to help illuminate the place. Oops, and I did it again. You have to, when you turn the UI off, you have to turn it back on to open doors. So I try to keep it off because it looks nicer, but I have to turn it on from time to time. So this was my room for the longest time. All these chests and drawers and everything, and I had my bed was right there. And down here, when we started, before this room was complete, it was just this room down here. And this is my friend's room, my friend Justin, who was very helpful in acquiring materials for this build. I thank him for his help. This was both of our rooms in the beginning, and then I put that on top to have mine, he have his. And this is still his room now. He's decorated it however he wants to, and this is all his stuff he has here. But what happened was, I'm going to keep doing that. I apologize. But the original fortress, it was just right here. This is all solid because I didn't want to get dug under or get a wall knocked down exceptionally easily. So I just made this solid concrete, and this is basically the first floor. But out here, the perimeter wall was right here. It was a two-block perimeter wall. And it was just this, and then this was the structure, the fort. Well, when I added on the next layers, I enclosed this whole space. I enclosed, making it kind of a buffer zone against any possible attacks. And I just realized if anybody decides they want to watch my videos and then attack me, they're going to know all of the strengths and weaknesses of my fortress. But hopefully people will be I think the sheer length of this video is going to probably weed out any D-bags that may be scoping the place. Okay, so up here, this is basically just a storage area. I honestly just added this stuff for decoration. I don't use any of it. But this is, I first started using windows here. And as you can see, I didn't know about the framed windows yet, but I just left them here like this. I think that's fine. But I figure the third story is a safe enough place for windows. Put the nice framed windows over here. Out here is a forge balcony. Again, I'm going for realism. I don't want the idea, even the idea of having a forge inside of the building. I know that it doesn't matter, right? For the game purposes, it doesn't matter. You can sit there and say, hey, why are you bothering to get hung up on stupid details like that, right? Because I go for realism. That's why. I'm trying to get immersed into this world. And in the real, if this were a real situation, if this were a real world, you wouldn't be smelting iron and lead and tungsten and pouring liquid glass into molds in your living room, right? Like, so I mean that would be just completely asinine. So I put these forges out here, which is an excellent location, highly fortified. It's, you know, up off the ground, and I've got I have, apologize again, different forges here. Again, iron here, lead here, tungsten. There's 3 of them that aren't set up for anything right now. But here I have cement, jar, and glass mold. And the one here on the other side and the one in the center are just open for whatever you need to use for. So there's that. Now going up to the next level. Left the door open. This is the door and the walkway to the greenhouse. And I built this. This tower is effectively a food and water supply area. Again, going back for the realism, it's in a cold climate, so you're not going to grow anything outside. Even though the game places blueberry bushes with fresh blueberries in the middle of this, which is kind of weird. But it's also weird that you get a jar of honey from giant hornets. So we can contest those flaws in realism. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm trying to stick as real as possible. So I'm sorry, I thought I heard a horde. But anyway, this is the greenhouse. So in here we have a supply of food. Right here we have blueberries, and this game plants things weirdly. I still haven't figured it quite out. Sometimes you place something and then it just pops right out of the ground, and you have to pick it up and try to replant it. Sometimes you place something here and then something over there pops out of the ground. So it's not as well planted as I would like it to be. I'd like it to be very lush in here, but it's not because of that. I don't know if it's a glitch or what the problem is. You also have to have water right next to the ground in order for the plants to perform well. So, again, I keep thinking I'm hearing a horde any minute now, right? So I'll just wait for them to start slapping things. I don't have to be paranoid. Anyway, you have to keep water right next to the soil. So I had to put this water down. And I know it looks really weird, but that's just the nature of the game right now. And this is an alpha game. Hopefully the water system is going to look a lot better. I also put a step well in here. And anybody knows what a step well is. It's a well that, well, you can see it better, it goes through the water. A step well has steps that go down, and so you fill it with water, and the more water that's in there, it covers up the steps, and you can progressively use the steps to get down to the water. There's a really beautifully designed stepwell in India. I can't remember the name of it, but if anybody's interested, you should look up. Just look up images of stepwells. They're really awesome architectural designs. But the water is glitched. There's a giant cross in the middle of the water. Really weird, but that's the way it is. So, but this is a water source, and come in here, fill up jars. You know, you don't have to find a stream or whatever. It's right here in the fortress, so self-sustaining. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm a big self-sustaining guy in real life, so it figures that I bring it into the games as well. On this level, we have potatoes, and again, so the idea is the torches are, I guess, kind of keeping it a little bit warm in here, and you have the water and the glass so that, you know, things can grow in the colder climate. Corn in here. Oh, and that water is there, and there is water here too, but it's glitched. Watch this. Hey, that water is so pure that it's clear. That's like Aquafina, you know. It's like top tier Aquafina water, right? That's what they'll be doing. They'll be selling bottled water soon with empty bottles, claiming it's pure water. Okay, so up here, there's a chest here. That is a chest designed to keep rifles and ammunition in, because up here is a excellent sniping area on the battlements here. Again, torches for light. And I want to show you what this place looks like at night as well. So I'm going to do like kind of a run through when it gets dark. But excellent sniping position. You get you basically overlook the east, north, and west sides completely. It's also a very good way of looking down and seeing which spikes have been destroyed, so you can go down and replace them. And get a couple of shots of the main building from here. I have a ton of screenshots if anybody's interested during the build, when you know, throughout the build, what it looked like before, what it looked like during the construction. Some really cool screenshots with the moon and the sunset, the sunrise. So if anybody's interested in that, I could probably find a way to get that on. And that is my fault. I just realized I did not upgrade those spikes on the top of the flying buttresses, so that's they are supposed to be upgraded. I apologize for that. It does not look as good. And there's an airdrop also. Don't need that. Okay, so that's the greenhouse. What I will actually do, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this game, I'm going to give you a quick demonstration as I will not take long, but I'm going to upgrade those spikes when I go up there. Okay, so coming into here, this is essentially what started as my room, my area. So this is my storage room, and everything's in these safes. But this is very basic, you know, just a storage room. Up here was supposed to be my room, but it became so much more than just an individual room. Over there is my bed. I really wish I could get one of the nice beds in the game. They have these nice beds that aren't covered in stains and all disgusting like this, but you can't pick them up. So I had to place this one because you need a bed to be your spawn point. So, but again, I'm doing the best with what I have. There's no tables in the game, so I just made tables out of concrete. Put these chairs in. Put these. The plants in. And what I really wanted to do with this space is I wanted to kind of capture the... Shut the hell up. Jesus. Like, that's awful. Like, just die already. Sorry about that. I apologize for the disgusting, screaming, dying zombie in the background. Who would have thought in a zombie survival game that you'd have to listen to such horrible noises? So anyway, this room is meant to encapsulate the kind of spirit and essence of the medieval cathedrals in a manner that can be done through this game. And what I mean by that is the cathedrals were designed at the time to use large amounts of light. That's why they had the flying buttresses, so that they could have open walls, lots of glass, high vaulted ceilings, because they wanted to have this open presence, like you were in the presence of God, with this light coming in through the windows and open spaces, and you get the picture. So basically, mimicking the kind of construction in a cathedral, used a lot of glass, tried to keep the columns minimal, enough to be structural but not overbearing, so they could include more glass. Put these plants in to try to brighten up the place and give it a feeling of being alive. All of these chairs and tables. The idea here would be, this is kind of like my sleeping area, but this is a hosting area to have feasts or banquets and things like that and bring people together in. There's a small balcony out here and a mirror image of it over here. There's another balcony here. This is where you can prepare food. I raised these up because they looked a little bit nicer being off of the ground, like a permanent fixture. Now we go up. All right, and this is a reading room, and anybody who knows the game knows that reading in this game consists of you finding a book with some information in it and right-clicking it, and then it goes, boom, you've learned a new recipe. So this is, again, a completely aesthetic room. It has no actual function in the game, as most of these rooms do not. But the idea here was to bring an area that is completely secure, where people could come to relax. I mean, we're talking about this again, this apocalyptic situation, this apocalyptic world. So having places like the room below, where you can have feasts and banquets and all come together and congregate and feel secure and be secure, and having places where you can relax and sit here and have plants and reading light and just lay down on a couch and read would be incredibly important. And I'm also looking at this from the standpoint of the actual people that come onto the server, which the server is not that busy right now. But people coming into this world, I mean, if you just join the server, you would literally be running around desperately trying to survive every night. Just desperately trying to survive. Dying constantly, zombies, dogs, falling from heights, all kinds of ways of being killed in this game. Very hostile environment. So this kind of an environment would have the allure of civilization in this kind of survival situation, which is something that I see myself as in this role being kind of like an estate owner. Like, I'm offering these kinds of benefits to people, and in a real world scenario like this, people would be congregating and flocking to a place like this. They'd be lining up saying, okay, what can I do to be a part of this community? What, do you want me to work in the mines? Do you want me to start a garden? Do you want me to build a camp somewhere because I want to be a part of this? And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. Now I'm just going to you can do it. I don't. Yeah, perfect. So forgot little something. I'm awful. I really apologize. Just fast forward about 30 seconds if you don't want to see this backtracking. And I've got to say, just as a note on the game, this game costs, I believe it's $25 right now. I got on the Steam sale for $15. I bought 2 copies of it, gave it one to my friend. I have logged about 110 hours on this game since I got it a month and a half ago. I bought a bunch of games on the Steam sale, and I basically only played this one. And it's not that the other games are not good. It's the fact that this one is just so addictive. So if you're interested in being able to do fully customizable builds in survival situations, I highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun. And I mean, it's an alpha right now. It's not even close to being complete, and it runs pretty well for an alpha game. Not to mention that it's got online play. And it's continually being updated. So this is upgrading the spikes. Materials to upgrade everything. Use materials to build everything. For instance, those who may not be familiar with this game, you have to make this block of concrete, I need various materials. So I have to go and acquire those materials, and then I produce concrete, and then if I want the sloped concrete for the roof here, I have to further modify it, and all that takes time. It's not an easy gratification. You're not going to, modern gaming, points, click, and everything is done for you. It's not like that at all. You have to do it all by hand, all manually, which makes the kind of satisfaction that you get from doing something like this so much more. It's not like another game with a crafting system or building system that, for instance, may or may not have options to build an entire battlement section like this pre-made, or build like tower section, plop, tower section, plop, and then battlement section, plop, and then you have a tower. No, it's all hand. It's all block by block, which allows you for a very high level of customization, which is exactly why I continued doing this build and why I was motivated to make this video, because people who play this game and people who play this game on regular crafting time will appreciate the level of work and detail that has gone into this. If you haven't played the game and maybe you're just watching because you want to check out an interesting build, or you're making fun of me, or you're just checking it out because I posted it somewhere, or maybe you, I don't know, for whatever reason. If you haven't played the game, you're not going to fully appreciate the level of work that goes into this stuff. So this is out here. This is a little balcony area. Or not a balcony. I don't know what you call this. It's partially enclosed, but oh God! I thought I heard something. Oh well. They're not going to get past the wall. Usually, I have to deal with these guys because I don't want to incur any damage, but it's not like they're going to get past the wall. The worst is they'll knock down some blocks and get killed on the spikes. Normally, if you had a regular-sized fort, which would probably be about the size of a house, this would be a serious issue, because the zombies... This world, that's what I wanted to mention earlier, this world is fully buildable and destructible. So every block, including the ground, you can destroy and collect. So if you destroy a piece of dirt, you can pick up the dirt. Some blocks don't drop anything, they just get destroyed. But the point being, the zombies will knock down the wall. Given enough time, and enough zombies, the zombies would knock down the wall, knock down the spikes, knock down the wall to the side of this building, the fortress, and then the fortress would collapse because it has a physics engine. A very basic physics engine, but it does have a physics engine. Whoops. That is not the correct ladder. Excuse me. Let's go up here. This is the chapel, and as I said in my shorter video, I apologize for my stammering over my words, but it's like 3 a.m. here. It's been a long day. But I am not religious, but this came together and it just fit. It fit really well. Because, again, in a survival situation, I think that some form of spirituality and perhaps religion would play a part in a lot of people's lives, being surviving through the apocalypse, especially in a structure like this, where they are again kind of having hope. Because if you have a structure like this, a fortress this powerful, and the zombies are really not a primary threat anymore, we're kind of moving along to the second or third phase after an apocalyptic scenario. Everything is destroyed. Then people are starting to try to survive, and the next step after that is rebuilding. The rebuilding phase after a disaster, a massive disaster, is the beginning of civilization returning. So there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of increased levels of content and happiness. People are not, they're no longer desperately trying to achieve normalcy and, eat and be able to sleep through the night. So this, having a religious space, even though I'm not religious, would probably be a good addition to any fortress. And this here is also part of the chapel area. It's just kind of a window room with storage and whatever. This was not intended originally, but there's a glitch in the game. And the glitch is that once you get over a certain height, you start to have issues with blocks being able to stick to one another. Normally, if I place a block right here, it will be supported by these blocks, which are supported by the columns. However, for some reason, and I hope the developers fix this, at certain heights for under certain conditions, the blocks will not stick. And I had a choice of either building columns directly up in the middle of the room to support the floor here, or just leaving it open. So I just left it open. This glitch, however, will come back to bite me later, as we're going to see very soon. So up here is a little storage area. I mean, it's not really a storage area. It's a kind of a staging room with these boxes for storage. And that's just to come out here on the battlements and to perhaps snipe or just keep a lookout and watch your wall getting attacked. I wonder if I can hit them from up here. It's so irritating. Yeah, that's not working. Looks like I pissed them off, though, because they're headed for me. Yeah, seems to be somewhat effective. Great. Perfect. They'll die now. Okay, so another battlement. Another set of battlements. You can see now just how high we are, and I've got to say, in the process of building and working on this thing up here, these tremendous heights, and building scaffolding, sometimes building scaffolding around the outside of the building and tiptoeing on it so that you can do work on the outside. It gets a little unnerving. If you get immersed in the game, it gets a little unnerving. And I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally fallen off the side, and it's a long way down to a complete and total death. um, so yeah, very, very high up now. Up here, this is where the glitch came back. These columns were not supposed to be this thick, but I could not get support for the blocks on top without making them thick. So that is why they're this way. And that pretty much effectively wiped out the usefulness of this room. It's only good as a kind of a lookout area, and you can't really see much anyway out these windows, so it's really just a useless room. It looks decent. It's not a bad room, but there's no function for it. Now, going up, and we're almost at the top now. Open these. These are the top battlements for the game. And I went with... I hear that thing destroying blocks down there. I apologize, but that's irritating. That's usually something that I have to take care of right away. But I'll just ignore it for the sake of the video. Okay, so what was I saying? Right, I moved over to wood construction this high, again for realism, because weight constraints, right? You know, so I wanted to switch over to a material that would have been lighter. The glitch became a real pain in the ass here. This is the very top of the fortress, and it took a while to get it to not glitch out. Because every time I was trying to put anything down, the door, these blocks, anything, it kept falling through, just falling down. At one point, I laid a block in the middle of this tower, and it not only fell down and didn't stick, but it took 3 of the columns supporting it with it for no reason whatsoever. They all just completely collapsed. So I had to restart the tower. But yeah, so that's why when you come up here, there's not much here. I would have gladly, you know, I'll even show you. I will show you the glitch. I would have gladly built more on here to make it safe instead of just this walkway. But this is what happens. That's what happens. Over and over and over again. The only way around it is to build very strategically in these really weird ways, and that's why this is so thick right here. But even then, it's such a pain in the ass. It's completely not worth it. Unless you have to finish up something like this. And I was so determined that I didn't think I'd be able to put a door on here. I didn't think I'd be able to put a roof on here. But I was determined for that realism that, you know, in an environment like this, especially, you would not have just a big open area leading into your fort. So I was determined to mess around with it. Fortunately, I was able to align the blocks in such a way that allowed me to seal it off. And at the very top here, this is all there is. Just this final spike. And there is actually a torch. You can't see it very well, but there's a torch on top of that spike. Okay. So, in very high, very, very high. You have to be really careful working up here. So, you know, if you have any kind of a fear of heights or any kind of a nervousness working on heights like I do, then base jump. Oh! So that's the easy way down. I'm just going to go take care of that bastard out there, and I'm going to show you the guardhouse. Oh, that's a big no-no. You always keep the doors closed. That's another glitch that you should be aware of. If there's anybody who's actually stayed this long through the video, here's one of your rewards. If you're planning on doing a massive build like this, you want to be aware that sometimes they glitch zombies in places that they should not be able to get to. I had a zombie glitch into the greenhouse. I was working out here, and all of a sudden I heard breaking glass, and I looked over there, and there was a zombie in the greenhouse. No way that it should have been able to be there. It doesn't happen often, but it happens enough. And even 1 or 2 times is more than enough if it's a sensitive location. Okay. Alright. I've had enough of your yelling and yapping and... Where the hell is it? Come on. Kind of whooped that. He turned into Laffy Taffy. What the hell? Okay, so I've got to fix that. Very disappointing because now I'm going to show you the guardhouse. And that's part of the guardhouse now needs to be fixed. So, I built the guardhouse for this reason. Obviously, I'm very sensitive about dangers to this fortress because it's massive, it's a huge amount of work, like I said, maybe 50 to 70 hours of work. It's very near and dear to my heart. Even though I know at some point the server's going to reset and it's all going to be gone, or a new update's going to come out and it's going to reset everything, I wanted to treat it with that kind of permanence. And so what I realized was people that may want to ally with me, and I have had some incidents which may... I'm not quite sure. Somebody may have been purposefully or accidentally leading zombies to my fort. But anyway, people who may want to ally with me will want defense. Somebody asked me for shelter once, and I said no because I didn't trust them. And I gave them some tools, and I said, pay me in stone. They said, you're going to have your stone, and then I never saw them again. So I don't know if that was intentional or accidental. I didn't really care. You know, it wasn't a lot of sweat off my back. It was just a few tools. But people who want to come to this fortress, who may want to come here, I don't want them living in the fortress with me unless I'm actual friends with them in real life. Because if you don't have the best intentions, that could be a problem, for one. Secondly, if you're just an idiot or you don't know how to play at all, what you should do when a horde comes is you should log off the server and wait for it to turn into daylight. You should not just sit in your fort and let them whack the walls away. But I can very easily see somebody doing that. So if somebody was in my fort and a horde came and they were playing for 10 hours on the server and I didn't have a chance to log in, they may have destroyed my entire fort by then due to their own negligence. So I said, you know what? No. If somebody wants to live here, they can live in a separate but attached fortress. So I built this little other fortress, which is the guardhouse, and connected it. And that's when I built this third level of spikes, third wall of spikes, and I built this perimeter wall around the outside. And that tremendously added to my own defenses. But I also connected this guardhouse directly to it, and the purpose here basically is that... Oh, and incidentally, I've had zombies spawn in here too. And the bottom rung of the ladder is out on these things, so that shouldn't be possible. But anyway, the idea here is I provide you with defense and an ally, and if you... you get to live in this guardhouse, and in exchange you basically work for me occasionally. Like, you have to maintain this wall. You have to maintain the spikes. You have to maintain this building. You have to like bring me some materials or something like that. Compared to when you're just starting out and you don't have anything, that's a good deal. It may sound like work, but it's not. You'd be working for a lot less if you're on your own. So right here is a sniper tower. Whoops. Again, this fortress isn't really in the style of the Gothic revival other than the battlements. It's a little bit more of a modern structure, but it's not attached to the main structure, so I'm fine with that. This is just a basic sniper tower. There's no defenses really. Hey, perfect timing, huh? not a good range for the shotgun. Hey! So, great demonstration, right? So you get a nice big view of the south, the east, and the west sides of the fortress. So it's just wide open. Nice place to be up here. So down here. Again, the battlements are good for especially PvP. So if you're fighting another player and they're shooting at you, you know, you can kind of strafe out here. I have not had that happen yet, but after posting this video, some people may track me down. So, okay, like this. All right, a zombie spawned in here. This is what happened. A zombie spawned in here and destroyed this wall. Wonderful. So that kind of maintenance has to be done to take care of that. Inside here, there's no decoration, anything. This is all to be decorated by the tenants. It's just wide open. We have this floor here and the basement floor, which now needs to be repaired right there. But there's a lot of space in here. You could easily fit a whole squad of people if they wanted to live in here. But these are minor repairs. That's not going to take a lot of effort. Okay. I also want to show you the mines. Because... oh, yeah, it's painful. When you build a structure of this magnitude out of concrete, and the recipe for concrete in the game is gravel and stone, or gravel and cement comes from small stones, you end up scavenging for a lot of resources. So the mines are a little extensive. Justin started the mines, my friend Justin, and I want to thank Justin again for his work in helping to acquire materials. He was very helpful in helping to acquire some of the materials for the fortress. So he started the mines. I added this in here because I just came in here as just a regular tunnel, and I thought, well, you know, what if Justin's working in the mines and like a horde comes or some unscrupulous player comes and they come in here to try to get him? Well, maybe these traps will help. You know, just have this pit with the spikes in the bottom. That should help to, you know, take care of any of those problems. This is a fake tunnel to the side here, and if you go through here, maybe you think, oh, this is the way through, and you just fall into the spikes too. So the only real way across is, oh, damn it. Okay, well, at least I wasn't really deep down the mine. That's another glitch. That is a good and a bad thing. Good thing, if you're stuck in a mine, you can get out. Bad thing, sometimes you're in the mine just walking around and, oh, hey, elevator to this guy. So the only way to go across here is across this bridge. Down here, I widen this tunnel out a little bit. Widen these out. Dug down into there. Come over here, widen this out. I do this kind of like weird design thing right here and put the torches in the bottom. Widen this out. Section there, and this is where I thought I was going to crash there for a second. This is where Justin was digging. He dug down through here and into here, and then I widened this whole area out. I started using TNT, and by the way, on this version, on the 8.8, they released a patch, and now the TNT doesn't work, which has happened at the end of my build when I needed a whole bunch of stone, and it is very irritating because you can no longer use TNT to mine. So I had to do it all by hand. So hopefully that'll be fixed soon. This, I just started digging and digging and digging. I said, you know, if I'm digging by hand, which is all what this was, I may as well dig to somewhere. And the idea was that I'd be digging down here, see how far I could get. This is how far I went. I don't know, I may dig more. I don't really need the materials as much as I did before. But there have been a lot of setbacks and glitches on this game. Something you should be aware of. Sometimes when you drop your backpack, when you die, an animal or a zombie will step on it, and then it disappears, and you lose everything in your backpack. And that can be, 5 or 6 hours of game time gone. Really, really irritating. I had that happen several times, and really frustrated the hell out of me to the point where I didn't want to play. But I did because I was determined. I had the server reset on me. There was an issue. Something happened with the hosts, the admins. I don't know. The site logged on, and I was maybe two-thirds through the build, and the server was reset. There's nothing. It was completely reset. There was no fortress. All my items were gone. Everything was completely gone. And that was at maybe 30 hours in. But I messaged the server admin, and they were nice enough to restore the file, and I was able to complete the build. Now this I dug out with TNT, and that goes straight down to the bedrock, and I will show you that. No! Oh my God! I can't tell you how many times that's happened. Okay, so in digging that vertical shaft down, I was using TNT, and I dug straight down. And when I was done, I had kind of this creeping feeling like, how am I going to get out of here? Well, I'll figure it out one way or the other. Well, I went down, all the way down, and then I looked up, and I couldn't see the top. It was so far down. I was like, oh, okay, great. So I spent the next, 2 or 3 hours building ladders to get out of the giant shaft that I had made. And that's why these ladders are all over the place. And another reason I did not, a lesson for any of you would-be builders out there, if you're doing something like this, do not build one ladder that goes all the way up. Because if one rung gets destroyed, and they're very easy to destroy, the rest of the ladder will just collapse. So you will have wasted a huge amount of time. That's why I built a series of different interconnecting ladders. Oh God, that scared me. A series of different interconnecting ladders here. Down here, another experiment, if you're curious, this was an experiment. I dug out straight down here. All this was dug out. All across the bottom was dug out. Up here, straight across here was dug out. And then straight across here and here. So essentially, I made this giant hanging piece of stone. And then I knocked the ceiling around until there's only a couple pieces left, and I knocked that out. And I thought, this is going to be great. I'm strategically mining. I'm going to drop all this down, and there's going to be a huge pile of stone right here. Right? No. About 90% of all the stone in that big block just disappeared. So I came down, and yeah, there was a good amount of stone, but it was not worth the effort I put into it. So let that be a lesson to you. This is the bedrock. You cannot dig below that, even with your fists. TNT. I dynamited this out, and this little area here, that's as far as that went. And right here. So that's as deep as it goes. And if you look up through the shaft, I mean, you can see it's just really deep. Now let me show you the elevator to the sky again. It's around here somewhere. I use it all the time. I really do. I use it all the time. There you go. Oh. Oh well. There you go. Look at that. Double elevator. Awesome. So now you know how to get out of a mine if you get stuck. Just back against the wall. Alright. Now I'm just going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to... I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and I'm going to go back to the fortress, and try to go over any points that I may have forgotten, any tips or glitches or information about the build. And, what the hell? Oh, interesting. Yeah, the zombies, sometimes when you're working in the mines underground, they will hear you picking away at the dirt, and they'll go nuts and try to dig towards you. Be aware of that. Of course. You know what? I want to try this. Screw it. I want to try this. Justin was good enough to find 2 of these and a bunch of ammunition. I've never seen them before. I've never fired one. So let's see what it does. Let's get a better angle. Are you kidding me? You have to hit the ground. There you go. What the are you serious? How the hell would you possibly survive? Oh my god. You... What is going on? Why is this happening? Alright, let's do this the old-fashioned way. Tried and true. 12 gauge. Okay, that was, you never want to rely on a rocket launcher of that effective ability in a life or death situation. Jeez. Okay. So, what was I saying? Saying something about mining? I don't remember. Anyway, okay. Overview of the build. And again, I will put I'm going to put the server name in the description for anybody who wants to come and see this themselves, if they want to come and check it out. I ask that you please respect the build and don't be a D-bag and try to wreck it. Just to be like, oh, look at that, I wrecked that guy's stuff that he had a video for. I mean, come on. So please don't do that. I'm being nice enough to give you the address where you can find it. And again, one of these projects that turned out to be just way more than originally conceptualized. I'm so happy with it. I honestly, and this is, I've never really posted anything on YouTube before. You can probably tell by the fact this is not a scripted video and it's kind of long, but there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to cover, and this motivated me to do that. This game, because I just worked so much into it. I said, why not share this? There's got to be somebody out there who appreciates something like this. I know it's going to be rare to find anybody who can sit through a video of this length, but this is really just a ton of work, and I hope that there are people out there who can appreciate the creative value of the design and the effort that's put into something like this. And the reason I started this channel, I don't know where I'm going to go with the channel exactly, and I know that I won't be posting videos on a really regular basis because I have a lot of obligations in the real world, my professional career, and I have a big garden. I'm a little bit into prepping and stuff, so there's a lot of work to be done in my real life, and I don't have time to just play games and post videos of creative stuff. But the whole idea that sparked me to want to start the channel, though, at least, is the idea of using games as a form of creative expression. There's so many different mediums for art, and I'm a very creative person. I've dabbled in many different... oh God, come on, jump. I've dabbled in many different types of art, and I figured, you know what, why not include gaming in that? Why not use a game as a canvas and a brush and paint? Use the game to the best of your abilities within the confines of that medium to create something beautiful and interesting and new. so that's what I focused on doing. Excuse me for 1 second. We have a zombified Michael Phelps over here. Super tall, lanky son of a bitch. Ugh. These are one of the worst zombies in the games because they run at you like a dog on all fours at night, and they climb walls, and they scream like lunatics. Anyway, back to the fortress. The sun is going down, and I want to show you how it lights up really nicely at night. So I don't know exactly where I'm going from here. I do not intend to build more onto this build. This build is complete. I may do some little tweaks here and there, but on this server, I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to get some friends together. We're going to go on raids. We're going to, just enjoy ourselves and use this fortress like it's meant to be used. I've worked so hard on building it. Now I just want to use it. Use it and maintain it and enjoy it with other people. So after this, I don't know, I may do another build. I may go on to another game. I'm not sure at this point. One thing that I am very concerned about, though, and I will caution any potential base builders on 7 Days to Die, I like playing on the PvP server because I like the realism of an environment that is dangerous not only because of the zombies and the environment, but also dangerous because you don't know who to trust. I like that. I don't like the idea of a PvE server where you go on and you know that everybody is friendly. You're not allowed to hurt each other. It's against the rules. I mean, real life doesn't work that way. I'd rather have a much more realistic approach where you don't know who to trust. There's danger around every corner, or you might bump into some really interesting and helpful allies. I like that feeling because it's real. However, that's the weirdest sound effect for a dying deer. A dying elk does not sound like that. What is? Does not sound like that. That is, oh God. I hope they fix the sound effects for that. That is ridiculous. Okay. As I was saying, if you're playing on a server, if it's PvP or PvE, doesn't matter, but if you're playing with other people on a server, you run the risk of the server resetting. And then everything's gone. Everything. And when that happened to me, I was both irate and so utterly and completely disappointed. And when the server admin was good enough to restore the server, and I'm not sure if that was because of me or if he was restoring it anyway, but I was so grateful. And I am very grateful if the server admin is still watching this video. Thank you for that, because it allowed me to finish this build. But be aware that there is always a danger of your stuff being lost on a server. Then, I mean, most of you who are seasoned gamers obviously know that already. Just be aware of that. There is a way around that, of course. You can host your own server, so you have control over the files, or you can just play single player. Both of those are viable options. However, there is one more thing you should know about potential beta loss. Because it's still alpha, there are updates coming out pretty routinely. And the updates may reset the game at certain times. It happens infrequently, but frequently enough for it to be an issue. Which again is why I wanted to record this video before that happened. I wanted to come up here because the light coming through at this hour kind of illustrates what I was talking about of the space, of this kind of gleaming space with a divinity just around the corner. Oh, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but these are tables. Obviously, they have chairs next to them, so they're obviously tables. But there's no tables to be constructed in the game, so I built these out of concrete. Quiet and peaceful for the moment. But as soon as the sun goes down, and that's something I didn't mention, when the sun goes down in this game, for those of you who are not 7 Days to Die players, the zombies become enthusiastic, let's just say that. You will also take note that the entire area around the fort is devoid of trees. That is because of the tremendous material acquisition cost that was needed to build everything in here. Which is really neat. I mean, that's another realism aspect of the game that I like. This game is relatively simple, but it leaves so much open to your creativity. I mean, the trees don't automatically just respawn. The mine, it's not like a generic mine. You go there and you just farm it, and every hour you put into clicking on the mine, you get so many stone. No, you actually mine. You actually mine and acquire what you mine. So it's really just a really interesting, realistic feel. I love that. Ouch. I'm going to try to leave you with some nice images of sunset here, as I just think if there's anything else I want to mention about the fort. The fortress, I should say. Fort connotates something a little bit more modest. One thing I would like to see in this game, I'd like to see the developers work on having some kind of an optional increase in difficulty. One thing that I would love to do is, say if I knew that the server was going to be reset next Monday, or a new update was coming out that was going to require the servers to reset, and I was going to lose everything. I would love to have a great last stand with my fortress, get my friends together, sit here with all of the ammo and all the weapons, and defend against a massive horde of, say, 300 or 400 zombies. That would be wonderful. 300 or 400 zombies right now would be horrific. Because, well, during the build at least, would have been horrific because I was focusing on the build, of course. But right now, or not right now, but if I was going to lose the fort anyway due to a reset, it would be really nice to have a button that I could press. Just send more zombies, send more zombies. That would be really awesome, because right now the hordes, they consist of, like what you saw, maybe 20 to 30 zombies, something around that range, and they're steady. They come pretty reliably on unpredictable times throughout the day. But when you have a fortress of this size, it is not a serious threat at all. Which means I've done a very effective job of building the fortress, I understand, but it would be nice to have an option. An option, not something that was necessarily mandatory, but an option for something that I could select to say, endless horde, or send 100 or 200 zombies my way, so that I could really test the mettle of the defenses that I've developed. That would be very nice. But the glitching zombies glitching into the fortress, the guardhouse here, zombies glitching into the greenhouse, that's totally unacceptable. I never had one actually glitch into the main building somehow. They've always, and there we go, transitioning to night, very dramatically. um, they've always glitched. The greenhouse was once in a couple times in here, but that's got to be fixed. The developers have to fix that. That is completely annoying. I mean, there's nothing like breaking the realism of the game when you say, I've got this massive fort and totally defended, everything's locked down, blah, blah, blah. Oh, smash, smash, somebody's in the greenhouse. Like, okay, that's just asinine. There's no way that you can rationalize that or justify it. It's just glitch. So it breaks the realism. It's very irritating. So I really hope that they change that they fix that problem. He's coming up over the sniper tower. I'm going to move around here and get you a nice angle. I'm so used to seeing it now because I've been taking a lot of screenshots and, of course, working on it and taking the video and everything. But I try to imagine walking along in the game, just joining the server, walking along and seeing this. And me personally, I know that I built it, so of course I like it. But I would be blown away by the level of work and the design of something like this. It's very uncommon. In the games that I've played, on the servers that I've played on, there tends to be on the servers that have instant crafting. They don't have regular craft time. They have instant crafting, which is too easy for me. I like to play on hard mode. I like to play with regular crafting time. I like to play with, the more realistic or the more robust zombies. On the easier servers, I've seen some big structures, but they usually just go for size. Something just this big block or something unusual, somewhat interesting. I have not personally seen anything even close to this cool looking on a server. I'm not trying to be boastful. I'm just saying I haven't come into contact with it. And if anybody is watching this video and they have seen comparable structures, please feel free to link them. I would be interested in seeing those builds. But this so far is the most architecturally and structurally interesting and large that I've seen. So again, there's my build. Went for realism, went for Gothic revival, kind of cathedral meets castle meets fortress. I hope that if anybody is still listening or still watching this video, that you've enjoyed my tour, enjoyed my vision, and that it inspires you to build your own of some sort. Build your own. Use a game, whatever your favorite game is. If it has the creative elements to it that you can really interact with it, play with it. See what you can do to turn your game into a canvas, to turn what you're playing into a creative endeavor, not just something that you're point and click and play and easy gratification and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Really work with it. Work with it like a canvas and a brush. And then follow the spikes. Thank you for joining me on this little tour, this long tour. And again, thank you everybody who helps with me being able to produce this.